All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. It's the Halifax Board of Selectmen. It is November 30th. We'll start off with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I spent the morning on the phone with Sandy, with Holly, with town attorney, not town attorney, schools town attorney, to try to look at different things that we could do with the budget for the school as well. We would possibly need regional agreement changes to make drastic changes that would help Halifax's numbers. So the first thing that we went over was prop. So the FY22, Cheryl, I apologize, I just sent this to you. My computer is not working, and so I'm going to read off the numbers, if that works for you.
That's fine.
Okay, so the FY22 level, tax levy capacity is $17,987,117. So Prop 2.5 for this fiscal year will be $449,677.93. So I had a couple phone calls with Holly and some emails and text messages later on in the day to call her back, and she thinks, after looking through all the building permits, she thinks new growth should be set at 50,000. So that's drastically lower than where we've been in previous years. Typically, at this point in time, we're around 100,000. So she's thinking 50, and she's going to work to get up to 100 for the full year. And then after town meeting in September, after we signed, the board signed with the assessors, excess capacity was $231,930.26. So then we have debt. We have the Silver Lake debt exclusion of $471,142. Landfill capping at $91,818. The Halifax Elementary roof and renovations, $308,350. Total debt exclusions of $871,310. So we have a total tax levy for this fiscal year of $19,358,104.93. So then I spoke with Sandy earlier today. So she believes that we could increase the motor vehicle excise tax, but the issue right now is there haven't been many new cars on the dealer lots, and it's been a lot of the older cars, so that depreciation value doesn't matter what somebody actually paid for it. It's set on a 5-year chart. So right now we just kept that level at last year's number. The meals tax for this current fiscal year is $70,000. She felt that we could increase that $20,000. And then penalties and other interest, that last year was dropped to 150 from 175. So she thought we could go back to the previous fiscal year's number. And then other charges for services for this fiscal year is $550,000, and she thought we could go up $30,000 for that. Basically, that's the ambulance revenue. That's when you look through the chart. Mm-hmm. So state aid, the largest majority of state aid that we get would be Chapter 70.
Right.
Directly to us is the elementary school. The problem for us right now is our enrollment is dropping. So if we get last year we got $30 per student. If we get $30 per student again, we're talking, I think this
26 or something.
567 or something. 567 times $30. So we're talking $17,000. That's not gonna really do much.
Right.
And then the unrestricted aid that we get for the town, you know, even if they were 3 or 4%, they're probably going to go up on the charges, and we're going to see a decrease. So overall, the prediction right now, if you spent everything that we have forecasted, you could increase spending by $806,608.19. Now, I didn't include in the recycling fees, and I didn't include in water, because those are the two enterprise accounts. So I didn't include those, because typically what happens is whatever we spend there, we go up by for the income. So then I quickly looked at the opposite side. Maybe I didn't leave myself a copy of that. I'll share with you. Thanks. So on the expenses, from the actuary report from Plymouth County, we have the FY22 and the FY23 number. So the retirement total would be $1,579,441. It's an increase of $117,067. Now, Charlie had left us a note previously and said he estimated a 4% increase in health insurance, which works out to a $43,000 increase. So I have that on the sheet. I was just double checking the math on that. Now, last year, the Finance Committee recommended a 2% increase for the elementary school. So I just took that as what you guys recommended last year, and I added that in. That's $118,000. In Silver Lake is probably going to be at least $220,000. I don't have a number for special needs right now. Typically, we don't get those numbers until the end of January is when we get the budget from the school. So right now, I have us at $446.40. So we have basically $300,000 spent with just these 4 items. And if you tried to leave that 230 for excess capacity for the following year, because we know that we're going up a full percent at Silver Lake, which is a $200,000 increase, you've got $80,000 to work with. So realistically, we're in a pinch already with just looking at the rough numbers. And we all know that inflation is increasing. All of our fixed contract costs, if they're up, are going to skyrocket. We know that our employees' costs are increasing as well, and we need to be cognizant of a wage increase for them as well. We are on the lower end of the pay scale when we look at where we're paying, and if people have the opportunity to leave, they probably will. I'm not sure really what to do other than, in the letter that typically goes out, I'd say there's less uncertainty in this budget year than the previous year when we were talking about the budgets, because at least we know that things are back open again. But it doesn't look good And I'm also not sure that we can really keep that 200,000 in excess capacity this year. So I think we're either going to pay the piper now, and next year make some really difficult decisions if we have to meet that Silver Lake number. And I spent a long time again today, like previous, going over the Chapter 70 formula. Things that are really hurting us right now is the charter school tuition. So Rising Tide is very close in Plymouth to Kingston. So for a charter school, you have to provide your own transportation. So it's easier for the students to go there than it is students from Halifax.
Right.
So the percentage number of students from Silver Lake going to the charter school are much higher.
Okay.
So there's a lot of, I mean, if you pull up the cherry sheet. I had like 8 spreadsheets open today trying to figure out which one to put all the information into, and it just kept getting. So if we go to Silver Lake, so right now, Silver Lake for this fiscal year, total net was $7,844,585. If you go back to last year, for fiscal year 21, net was $7,973,347. So we had a net decrease of $130,000 in Chapter 70. So basically the towns have to make up that lost revenue. So not only do we have each year the costs going up by about 600 to 700,000 just to stay level. That's not adding programs or anything in Silver Lake. Now we've got to add that $130,000 to the towns. So you're looking closer to $300,000 for Silver Lake this year. So we're in a pinch to begin. So I'm not sure, other than a level funded budget is really what we need to ask for, and not a level service, a level funded. And then we need to have a discussion on, can we use ARPA funds? Should we use ARPA funds? Are there one-time things in the budget that can be paid for with the ARPA funds? Is there free cash money that we can use, not on capital, but on one-time? I guess I wouldn't call those capital purchases, because usually we require them to be $5,000 or $10,000. But are there?
I'd hate to use ARP money at one time for something we're going to carry over in other years.
It's definitely not good practice to do operating funds with something that's going to dry up in 3 years. So, I mean, really the function is, we don't have a lot of commercial property. Everything's residential here.
Yeah.
We do have a really high special needs tuition and transportation. And when you look at the presentation that Silver Lake put on 2 weeks ago, we receive more circuit breaker than Kingston does. So we have a higher needs population that Kingston does for the students that we have to service. So if anyone has ideas on things to try, I'm not really sure. I mean, we can probably get by this year, but the fiscal year beyond that is
Sketchy.
we are probably going to eat up all that excess capacity this year.
I don't think so.
What is chapter 70?
So chapter 70 is the school aid, state aid.
Oh, okay. So that's decreasing.
So at Silver Lake, the total that Silver Lake is receiving is decreasing. The number went up, but because there's more students going to charter schools, they take out an average cost and they service students that actually cost less. Because at the public school, if you have somebody with a special needs placement that's inside the school, we don't get any more money for that student at the school. Everyone's treated the same. And when you look at the Chapter 70 funding, they expect you to only have 1% of out-of-district needs. So the funding is really not accurate. So and I know you guys are going through this newly.
Right.
I know Tom and Cheryl have had 3 years, Cheryl? 4 years?
It's my third year, yeah.
So it's going to be a difficult year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did Tom join us or no?
No,
No.
he's not feeling well.
Okay. Do you guys
Had to do well. I did.
want to hold off on the wage and personnel issues for him?
Yeah, probably should.
Okay.
I would think.
I think so too.
I agree, yeah.
So one of the plans that we've been moving forward with for the senior center is to swap Pope's Tavern in the museum. We approved money for a site plan for Webby Engineering to give us a site plan of the 2 lots that are over here to look at doing an expansion. My thought was to use ARPA funds as that the seniors in our town, as Gene and everybody here would say,
Underfunded.
yes. So we need to do something, and my hope after talking to Tom O'Brien and some of the Plymouth County Commissioners is they would agree that that is definitely a group of citizens that has been impacted by COVID, and being able to have a place for them to go, talk to a nurse, and just experience life again and have a place to go. So we are working with, is it Angelo? Is it Pam? Is that sound right? Angelo? The architect? Is it Angelo?
The senior center.
Muted, darling.
Angelo, thank you, darling. So he had drawn up a previous set of plans, but when we looked at those plans, we had questions on the site. So Webby Engineering is supposed to be supplying him with those site plans this week, and then he's going to come back to the building needs committee and present a project there. So I was hoping to push for funds out of ARPA and get the county to agree that that's a wise use of the ARPA funds.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Gordon,
Yes.
have they not given us any of the funds?
So we have some of the funds, but there's a question over how the remaining funds are gonna be doled out by the county. So the some money went directly to the town, and there'll be another deposit to the town in April, I believe. And then the county is supposed to have a program set up on how to disperse the funds. So,
We have input on how they're dispersed?
yeah, through the county commissioners, yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm hoping once we have that set of plans done, we can invite them to one of the building study committee meetings, show them what we're trying to move forward with to, Senator Brady and Kathy Lenatra have sent representatives to those meetings before. They're on board. They know that what we have is not conducive to a senior center in town. So hopefully before Christmas, we can have another update and let everybody know where we stand on that. But that would not be coming from the operating expense. That would be coming from ARPA and, if necessary, a debt override.
Do you have a figure of what we have in ARPA right now? Is it like a separate account, or did it go?
I don't know the exact number.
But you
right now.
do, but there is a certain figure.
Well,
that's in a
it
separate
depends on how the Plymouth County Commissioners agree to divvy up. It's different than what they did for CARES. CARES was basically
On population.
on population, yeah. So,
account. Did we put that like in a separate account though?
yeah.
That's like whatever we.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we did, okay.
So far, we voted out of the ARPA funds that are unconditional, the bonus money. We increased Caesar's hours, the site plan and botany plan work up for the property across the street, and possibly one other item,
The school air conditioning.
the school air conditioning assessment. Which again,
Cantor's hours too.
yep, as well. So that's what we have so far.
I know Sandy, I think, had like a tally sheet
Yeah.
at some point that had
Yeah, so
everything.
that's all in a separate account.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're not using it for anything
Right.
except stuff like this.
Right.
That's fine.
So typically what we do at this meeting is the finance committee and the selectmen take a vote on what's basically in the letter that we send out. Is it level service or level funded? And I think just looking right now, we need to ask the department heads to come forward with a level budget and highlight any issues that are within their departments that can't be passed over. Is that fine with the board?
Yeah, do you want a motion? Or so moved? Do
Move?
we have to have a vote
Yeah.
of all the boards? Both boards?
Well, we can vote.
Yep.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Okay.
Yep, I moved it.
Is that John?
It is.
Yeah, I'm in remotely.
Okay, do you guys want to take a vote?
Yeah, Cheryl, do you wanna call for a vote?
We want to make does anyone want to make a motion from level funding from the department heads?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Mike Bennett,
Yes.
John,
Yeah.
Todd,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
So I will continue to work with Sandy and Holly to get some updated numbers, and then
Okay.
I'll try to attend your meeting in 2 weeks with that information.
Cool.
And then I'll take Sandy's spreadsheet that she finished for the last town meeting, make sure everything's pointing to the right cells, and give you a FY23 spreadsheet that I'll work with her on.
Sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Do you guys have anything for us? Anything that you need?
I don't think so at the moment. Tom would probably know a little better than we would, but I think we're okay for the time being.
Okay. Thank you guys very much for coming in and doing 2 meetings in a row.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
Thank you.
sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Gordon.
So we have a community grant from fiscal year 2016. It was a community compact best practice for CPI discussion. That was the capital improvement plan. And we did not fulfill the requirements of that grant. I knew Charlie was working on it, but it didn't get done. It was something that came up the last year and a half. The head of DOR has been involved. So Sandy's working with them to either send them back funds from the free cash number or withholding from state aid.
It's not something, we're just done, we can't do what they asked, we have to send the money
They
back.
are at the point now where they said that we didn't fulfill the requirements of the grant. It's been more than 5 years.
Do you know
so-
what the requirements were?
We were supposed to send them a copy of,
All the events that took place.
for the capital improvement plan. So.
Did we just not have events, or did we just not send them?
I believe some of the work was done, but the capturing of it was not done correctly. So at this point in time, they're going to take the money back.
Thanks. All right.
The next up, we had the request for legal services discussion. Brooks and Durensis sent us a form
It's right here.
that they want us to use. And I think right now, having both Ed, as soon as he agrees to the contract, and we present him one, and the chair of the Board of Selectmen to sign off before we have authorized any more legal counsel usage.
That's,
What they had recommended to us when they,
So it looks like it covers all bases.
yeah,
they said they use that for a lot of towns, just to
so that.
have more of a procedure and a policy.
So can we have a vote to approve usage of that form? And
So moved.
so
Second.
all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. So discussions on trainings with regards to public record and open meeting law, where Attorney Huxham was the one that created the policy. Jack was going to talk with him and Paul and see who was the best person to do the training. So
So we're waiting on a
December
date.
6th is not
Okay.
going to be the date.
Okay.
So I'll ask them to work with Ed on setting up that date. And then I had talked to Sandy about seeing if we can get some of the state agencies to come in as well and do trainings. So we will work on that. So we need to go into executive session to come back out and take a vote on a contract with the interim town administrator, Ed Thorne. The board hasn't reviewed the contract yet. So the board will review the contract after executive session. We do need to do approval of the meeting minutes from executive sessions. And then we have to discuss the deployment of security personnel. So I think it would be smart first to just do the contract negotiation.
Okay. And then come back out.
Yep.
Yep. So I motion to go into executive session to discuss contract negotiations for the interim town administrator, sergeants, and firefighters, as discussing strategy with respect to collective bargaining in an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the town, to which we'll be coming back to regular meeting to vote on the contract with the town administrator, and then we'll motion the rest of the executive after.
Okay. And the chair so declares we need to do that. So,
Second.
oh, is there a second?
Yes.
And so it needs to be a roll call vote. So Ashley?
Yes.
Troy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Do you want to talk as a board and then invite Mr. Thorne to come in after
Sounds
a few
great.
minutes?
Perfect.
An executive session, does that work?
Sure.
All right. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Gene.
Thank you.
So,
Go by that one. 7:55.
7:55, we'll call it back to order. So we have an employment agreement with the town of Halifax and Edward Thorne as the interim town administrator. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right. Mr. Thorne, is the contract acceptable to you?
Yes,
All right.
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right. I have no idea how many copies I needed, so I had Caesar do.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Great.
I'm glad I'm coming in at a critical juncture for the community. For FY20.
Well, it didn't scare you away. Maybe we should have done that after the fact. All right.
You 4 copies?
I made 4 copies. I have no idea how many we needed, but I did 4. I can do 5 if you want.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Am I passing these? No, he's got to go. Ed has to sign them, so I'm going to go back this
And
way.
I think we're gonna get
I
that.
haven't seen the FY21 budget parts
Okay.
and all that.
I
Because you
will.
don't have it on the website.
So we have it on in the town warrant. So you've got to look at the previous town warrant to find the budget. So what I'll do is I'll take the spreadsheet that Sandy does after the approval, and she puts all the numbers in, and I'll give you that copy tomorrow.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Perfect. After I get that one, Gordon, I'll hand them back to you so
And then
Ed
I'll
can
give it
sign
to
them.
Ed. Yep.
Oh, he already signed the one that Troy
Yep.
has, so here. I'll sign that one. Thank you. Perfect. All right.
That's the one we all signed. After we sign those. Do you need to go in for
No.
reasons 2 and 3?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
So just 4 and 5.
And you have those copies?
Yep. Oh, the minutes, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you gave them to me.
All right. It's official. Get those to the town clerk to sign.
And then the labor council have to sign it too?
Yeah, he put his thing on there, so
Okay. And then,
we'll get it to Jack to sign. Okay, so we need to go into executive session to discuss the deployment of security personnel with devices with war strategies with respect thereto. And we have to go into executive session for approval of meeting minutes from executive sessions of meetings on July 2nd, 2021, July 13th, 2021, July 20th, 2021, and July 23rd, 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And we won't be coming back out into regular session because we're
Right,
done with
we'll be
regular
adjourning.
section. We'll be
Yep.
adjourning from executive.
Correct.
So I move,
So Ashley,
yes.
Troy,
Yes.
and myself, yes. All right.